when we think about making healthy eating simple, you have to think about it like you're feeding a 4-year-old. I mean,
Maybe.
it's just the way it is. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Better Basics Podcast, the least douchey fitness podcast on the planet. I am Matt Stone, and as always, I have my best friend, Dylan Waldhuter. Dylan, it's good to see you. Welcome home, man. You were gone. You were on a little road trip.
Yeah, Lake of the Ozarks. It was a great time. I don't highly recommend 8 hours in the car with a 5-month-old, but he was a trooper. We had a really nice time. Pretty part of the country. I'd never been there before. Um, yeah, good time. Good to be home.
Yeah, I only know Lake of the Ozarks through the show. So, um, yeah, was it just like that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's crime everywhere.
Yeah. Oh man.
I
All
was
right.
looking for it. Didn't see it, but I was looking for it. There was a, there was
Well,
a there was a bar called Marty Bird's.
classic. Okay, yeah. So good to see that they're steering into that skid. All right. How I wanted to kick off the show this week was with a little PSA for you. So I don't know if you saw this, but apparently, uh, senior citizens in Canada are poisoning themselves with legal weed. It's becoming a problem.
Damn. I
Yeah.
wonder
Okay.
why. I
Uh,
wonder why.
Yeah. So, um, basically, the an article came out. A study was done that basically it said that emergency room visits for seniors because of marijuana poisoning has doubled since recreational weed has been legalized there. Um, and you know, no shit. I mean, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, it's funny. I wonder how they define marijuana poisoning.
Yeah, they didn't
Like,
go into
like,
it.
like, oh shit, I took too many edibles. I
Yeah.
think I'm dying. I
Well,
need to check
yeah.
myself into the emergency room. But I think probably a lot of senior citizens probably had this like stigma around marijuana for a long time as like this, dangerous illegal drug. And I would imagine with it becoming legalized, in a lot of places that more senior citizens are taking to it.
Yeah, well, so one, usage is obviously up, but the other thing, I mean, so and then the other big thing is that the stuff nowadays is so much more potent. I read in the article here, I have it right here. It says today's cannabis extracts contain as much as 30 times more THC than dried cannabis from the mid 80s and early 1990s. So I mean, if you imagine if you're like a senior citizen and you haven't smoked pot since you were a kid, and now it's legal again, it's legal, so you're going to try it out, and this ain't the reefer that you're used to.
Not that dusty swag from the 80s. Yeah.
It's not the ditch stuff. No. So I mean, obviously, like the strength is a big thing. Um, but another thing that they said in the article was that older folks are particularly susceptible to unintentional poisoning because, and this is a quote, edible cannabis products are visually attractive and palatable and may be taken in error, being easily confused with non-cannabis food items. I mean, that there's definitely some truth to that. When you have a gummy bear that has 10 milligrams of THC in it, if you are not expecting it and eat a couple of those, you're gonna find yourself on a different planet, and you might think that you've been poisoned. So, I mean, I guess like the takeaway here is if you're going to dabble in these products, start with a small dosage and see how it reacts. And also, if if you're over at a friend's house nowadays, if you reach for a gummy candy in their pantry, you might want to just double check the label and make sure that you're not getting something that has weed in it.
I've got a really funny story I want to tell, but I'm not sure that I can tell it publicly. So I'm gonna have a go at it, and I'm gonna try to talk around the person so as to not
Let's try it.
attribute the situation to them. But you and I both have a friend um, who in a job that they previously had was associated with an individual that they worked with, and this individual was on the road and found themselves in Denver and had an affinity for sweets and purchased a good amount of marijuana cookies and consumed them like cookies, not like marijuana, and found themselves in a panic and called and was taken to the hospital by ambulance
Dude,
because they ate too
yeah.
many marijuana cookies.
I mean, for as someone who has intentionally and unintentionally poisoned myself with marijuana before, uh, it's not fun. Actually, while we're on fun Colorado stories, the one that comes to mind is actually when you and I went with our buddy Nate out to Colorado. I mean, we went on a big camping trip out west. We flew in and out of Denver, and on the way back home, I had to stop by a dispensary and I picked up a chocolate bar. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I assumed that you guys were going to have some. Uh, so I got back in the car and I started breaking it up into pieces. And you and Nate were both like, "We don't want any." And being the stingy man that I was like, "Well, I'm not letting it go to waste." So I ate the whole chocolate bar. I think it had like 40 milligrams in it, which like 10 is good. 10
Too
is
much for me. Yeah.
good. It's good. Yeah, definitely enough for me. And I remember after I ate it, I looked at our buddy Nate and I said, "You're my spotter. I don't know what's going to happen." And they we got through security and they had the tags that we had to put on our bags. And it's a very simple sticker. You just loop it through your bag and take the tape off and stick it together. I couldn't figure out how to do it. Fortunately, Nate, being the good spotter that he was, he saw I was struggling with it and just said, "I got you, buddy," and got me out of there safe. But this stuff is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having fun with it, but seriously, I
Right.
mean, if you are going to experiment with it, if you are in a place that that it is legal and you're going to try it for the first time, start with a super low dose. You can always take a little bit more, but please, you don't want to end up like these seniors in Canada who are apparently checking into the ER at alarming rates. Um, okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show here today. So what we wanted to talk about was uh, healthier eating made easy. So, Dylan, you you brought up a bunch of different ways that uh, people can have this like healthy eating without it being the conventional like meal prep. Tracking everything that they eat. These are simple takeaways that people can use uh, to just start eating healthier without making massive changes to their lifestyle.
Yeah, there's tenets to good nutrition, and we can save that for another episode where we can get into what good nutrition ultimately looks like. But what we want to talk about today is just really practical ways to make eating healthier easier in your everyday life. And it's important because I think a lot of people are reluctant to or don't eat as healthy as they could because it's challenging at times. It's not as convenient as running through the drive-through or grabbing something out of the freezer aisle and throwing it in the oven. So a lot of this is going to be about how can we practically implement more healthy foods without without it being, to your point, like a whole afternoon of meal prep or a big lavish dinner that you have to prepare. Um, on the just quickly on the tenets of good nutrition, we talk about a lot the importance of prioritizing protein. We talk a lot about the importance of fiber in the diet. We talk a lot about trying to get it right, 80% of the time or so, focusing on whole natural foods, diversity in the diet, those sorts of things. Um, But but again, what we're going to talk about today is eating healthy can sometimes be inconvenient. It can sometimes seem like a burden. It can sometimes feel like an total upheaval of the way that you regularly eat. How can we make some tiny tweaks to what we're already doing to make our diet a little more healthy?
Right. And so, we've mentioned this a number of times on the show, but the place that we always like to start with people when it comes to things that they can look at in their diet is protein. And so, we're going to, talk about some of our favorite high protein options for, for snacks, for, things that are staples in our refrigerators at home.
Yeah, and these are the grab and go sort of things, right? So to the point of convenience, when I'm talking to people about, replacing an existing habit with maybe a little bit better one, instead of grabbing the bag of Doritos, grab a yogurt. Instead of, snacking on some candy, grab a couple string cheeses. So I think we just want to cover a few things that you and I both like that are grab out of the fridge or pantry, snack, convenient, easy, but healthy, high protein. Um, and so I started to list some of them already, right? Yogurt. I've talked, I think, on the podcast before, a good low fat Greek yogurt, you're going to get a significant amount of protein at very low calorie. I like the Oikos 000. You can find them at most grocery stores. They taste good. I think they're 15 grams of protein. One or two of those puppies fill you up. Bunch of protein. Great source.
Yeah, yogurt is something that we both have in our fridges, and I especially like it because I don't have a huge sweet tooth, but when I am really craving something, especially like, after dinner instead of, and if I want my ice cream, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna have ice cream. But you can't you can't be eating ice cream every day and consider yourself, living a healthy lifestyle. It's just those things tend to be a bit conflicting. So yogurt is one of those things that I tend to doctor up at the end of the day as my little dessert. And the best thing about it is you can flavor it so many different ways. You can mix some protein powder in there, mix some frozen fruit in there, fresh fruit, a little maple syrup or whatever you want for a little bit of sweet. There's a ton of different ways you can go with it. But another thing beyond just like the sweet yogurt bowl is you can also use that as a substitute for something like sour cream.
Mhm.
And you can take something that, might be a regular meal and just bump up a little extra protein in there.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's a major cheat code if you're willing to make the investment. The Ninja Creamy is
Oh, you were telling me
I
about that.
dude, so I bought Courtney, my wife, one of these for her birthday, and you can basically whip up ice cream really quick in your own kitchen, and you can make like legit ice cream, but it's really easy to take like protein or higher protein milks and make stuff that tastes and yogurt and make stuff that tastes like ice cream, but is like 50 grams of protein and 300 calories. It's insane. So you can buy one on Amazon. They're not super inexpensive, but they are a lot of fun to have at home.
Nice. Another one that I have, and it's a great one for children too. I have a 7-year-old at home, and something that we often turn to as just like a quick snack is string cheese. And there are, we're in Wisconsin, we're in the cheese capital. So there are a ton of different options here, but string cheese is just another one. You can find a low fat option to make it even more like bang for your buck as far as protein versus calories go. But just another quick, easy, and satiating snack. I love string cheese.
Do you peel it or do you bite it like a psychopath?
Dude, that I just go after it. I do peel. I don't get me wrong. I
You
peel,
peel like
but
once or twice and then you just
and
eat.
then I just go, yeah, yeah, I get it. And you like to savor, so you're gonna be you're more of a conventional peel man, and I respect that for you.
Another easy one is eggs. We talk about a lot. They're quick to cook up if you want to just fry them or over easy or scramble. But and it kind of this is a bit meal preppy, but boil some eggs up one morning, stick them in the fridge for the rest of the week, and you can pull them out of the fridge, peel them, and have a quick high protein breakfast source.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, I think there's a difference between being an adult and preparing food and meal prep. You know, like when we think about meal prep, you know, we're thinking about spending a whole Sunday afternoon, you know, cooking up a bunch of chicken and rice and steaming broccoli and putting them in these you know, matching Tupperware containers and stuffing them in your fridge. That, you know, if you like to do that, if that's something that you get enjoyment out of, that's great. But for the majority of us, it's not a sustainable option. But I mean, be an adult, hard boil some eggs, have them on hand. They're delicious and easy. Put a little mustard on them or hot sauce, and you've got a great, easy snack.
You want to know some nuts shit that I saw the other day on social media? So
Mm.
Alex Hormozy, right? He's this bigwig business dude, but he's jacked as fuck. And he was recommending that you go to the grocery store and you buy a carton of egg whites.
I saw this.
And I guess they're ultra pasteurized, so there's no contaminants in them whatsoever. And he pours protein powder in the egg whites and drinks them, claiming
Yeah,
that dude, if you're really trying to get jacked, maybe go ahead and give it a shot. That's fucking nasty in my opinion.
it's disgusting. But yeah, I mean, if you want to live on that edge, be our guest.
Now,
Um, un-
if you are watching your calories a bit, I'm very much an egg yolk guy. That's where all the flavor is. But if
mhm.
you know, you could do two whole eggs, and instead of two more whole eggs, you could do a couple egg whites, because a lot of the calories in the eggs and all the protein is in the whites, the fat and whatnot is in the yolks. So that could be a bit of a hack if you want to keep some egg whites on hand.
Yeah, or I mean, or just Hormozy it and drink it. Drink the
Bro.
egg whites. That's fine too. One thing that I am a huge fan of is beef jerky or jerky in general.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a dehydrator at home, so you know, like whenever we go on camping trips, that's one thing that I always volunteer
yeah.
to bring a bunch of. It's just such a great easy way to have a high protein snack on hand. You know, and then having the dehydrator, that is something that really isn't. It's a pretty cheap uh, tool to have at home, and the thing that I like about that is then you get to control exactly what you're putting into it. Because if you're going to uh, you know, a gas station or store, the thing about a lot of store-bought jerkies is they make them really sweet, especially, you know, for the American palate, we tend to like things on the sweeter side, so they tend to put a lot of different sugars in there. I think it's unnecessary, so when I make my beef jerky at home, I don't really put anything sweet in there, maybe a little bit of brown sugar, but that's one way that you can really control how much sugar goes in there. And then, you know, you also, you're going to save some money there too, because if you are looking for, you know, like high quality jerky in stores, it can get a little expensive.
Yeah, and then on the meat front, if you're able to, buying meat in bulk, like half a cow, and storing that in the freezer makes it really easy to always have good, healthy meat available to you to cook dinner in any given night. I don't do that. I sign up from pro meat subscription service. They send me a box every month. That's my meat for the month. I stuff it in the freezer, and on Monday, my wife and I talk about what we're going to have that week. We pull it out of the freezer thawed, and it's ready to be cooked. So
Yeah.
it's a really convenient way to keep, you know, good quality protein meat on hand at all
Yeah,
times.
but I go the other route. I live in an area where we do have a bunch of local farms, and so we actually have two chest freezers in our basement, and so once a year we get half a cow, and it's awesome. I mean, we constantly just have high quality meat on hand, and it really does. I mean, it makes planning out dinners for the week significantly easier. So I mean, if that's something that you're into, like I highly suggest it, and then you end up getting a really good deal on high quality meat. So I love that one.
Yeah, that's really nice to have. I would like to look into doing that at some point as well. Another one we have on here is just very convenient, right? It's protein powders, shakes. My favorite thing right now is the Fairlife protein milks. You can get them at Costco in like a 18 or 24 pack. But instead of distilling the whey out of the milk product and turning it into a powder, what they do with this is they distill out, or whatever the process is, all of the fat and lactose sugar, so that all that's left in the milk is really the protein. So it's still milk. It tastes like chocolate milk. It doesn't have that kind of powdery, chalky flavor that can sometimes come with a protein powder. So it's absolutely delicious, and it's 30 grams of protein in a little bottle. So I've been all over those recently.
Fairlife is the one they have the core power ones that have like 42 grams in a bottle too, right?
That's
That's
I
the
think
same
so.
company.
I think
Yeah, and
so.
it's delicious. I mean, they
It
have
is.
I know they have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, and that's one where as far as like a road trip snack goes, like if I'm on the road and we stop at a gas station, I'm always going to look to see if they have like a Fairlife protein, because man, like yeah, 30 grams or those core powers have 42 grams in a bottle. That's really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, when I was just on my trip, I brought one for every day, and I knew I wasn't going to be, as consistent with my protein intake, less control over my meals, but just throwing in one of those a day, I knew I was at least getting an additional 30 grams. So it can be a really good strategy.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last one that we have here on the list is like higher protein breads, bagels, tortillas, pastas, etc. There are a ton of really good options out there. As one thing that I use often is the pastas. You can get so many different types of pastas. There's red lentil is really good. You can get black bean pasta. I mean, and nowadays you can get them, and they're not going to be exactly like like a wheat noodle, but it's pretty dang close. And if you put pasta sauce on it or making mac and cheese or whatever, you're not going to notice it. And for sure, if you have a family, like you're going to be able to sneak that past your kids, no problem.
Yeah, the one that's everywhere is Banza chickpea pasta. And it's like 1.5 to 2 times as much protein as you'd get in a conventional wheat pasta. It's also got a boatload of fiber in it. So, if you eat a bunch of it, like you would eat a big bowl of pasta, you might get some farts the first couple times as your gut kind of adjusts to that higher intake of fiber. But really healthy when we're kind of talking about these two pillars of nutrition being protein and fiber. Those high protein pastas can be really good for that. I recently, so I'm a big Dave's Killer Bread guy. I think it's delicious. It's super high in whole grains, super high in fiber, and higher in protein. They've got bagels that are in your average grocery store, 13 grams of protein per bagel,
Damn.
which is, yeah, just fantastic. And they taste pretty good. I mean, they're not as good as Matea's cultured Door County bagels, but for something
Yeah.
you can buy in a store and throw some cream cheese and an egg on, to get 13 grams of protein out of it is pretty darn good.
Yeah, for sure. And that leads us really nicely into the next category here, which is fiber. I know it's something that is very near and dear to your heart. And so an easy way that I like to make a high protein, high fiber breakfast is take some Greek yogurt, and then I'm going to mix in chia seeds and some ground flax seeds in there. And so you've got a lot of protein, but then you also have some really, really good fiber. And again, like it mixes really well, tastes good. And yeah, so I mean, the big thing with the flax seeds though is you just got to make sure that they're ground, right? I mean, that's the big thing you got to worry about, because if you have whole flax seeds, and you aren't going to get all of the fiber benefits. Is that right? Do I have
Yeah,
that right?
you don't digest them. So chia seeds, you're good. You can eat them whole. But the flax needs to be ground. Your body can't. Otherwise, it'll just poop out the whole seed.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, you got to grind those up. I love all brand buds. I've talked about it on the podcast before. It's a brand cereal. You can buy it at the store. Super high in fiber. Like one serving is 60% of your daily RDA for fiber. Again, something you can just mix into a yogurt. It's something that you can just mix into another cereal to get the fiber count up. And these things are super convenient, right? Like take a yogurt out of the fridge or two, throw some chia seeds in it, and you're out the door and on your way to work, and you've got 35 grams of protein and 25 to 50% of your daily intake for fiber. Um, I also am a huge bean guy. I'm trying to get more into cooking them from raw. It's a bit challenging, so I typically go for the convenience of a canned bean. But those are things that you can just sneak into a ton of stuff, which I think we're going to talk about next is how can we like take these things that are good for us and just kind of sneak them into things that are already pretty healthy for us. Last one on the fiber list that's awesome is frozen fruit. You can eat it
Oh
like a
yeah.
snack. Like I keep a bag of frozen strawberries in the fridge and just eat them like candy. They're delicious and they're high in fiber and they're nutritious.
Yeah, there's Wegmans is a brand that they do wild blueberries.
Yes.
But I recently found they have like a triple berry blend that has raspberries and strawberries in it too. Uh, I love it, and that has actually been my after dinner treat for the last couple weeks, where I'll just take either a bowl of yogurt or kefir and mix it with some of those frozen berries and a little bit of protein powder, and it is freaking awesome. I love it.
I love that. I might have to give that a try. Yeah, you could just like blend it with some kefir. So the kefir will have the probiotics, and then you get all the
Yeah,
fiber from the fruit, and you got a little milkshake basically.
dude, it's delicious. It is. It's just like a milkshake. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. So, that kind of covers our thoughts on protein and fiber, the kind of staples, more convenient things you can grab to get more of it into your diet. A way that I really like to do that is by just sneaking it into things that I'd otherwise make. So, for example, we make tacos maybe once a week here. Take some ground beef out of the fridge, throw it in a pan, and what we would typically do is throw some taco seasoning in the beef, maybe chop up some lettuce, onion, tomato, throw some cheese on it. But what I've started doing more of is in the pan with the beef, I'll throw in a can of beans. I'll
Hmm.
throw in a diced up onion. I'll throw in some fresh garlic. I'll throw in some chopped up red and green pepper. And now I've taken that ground beef and I've gotten a ton more vegetables into it and into my diet. And when you put it on the taco shell and throw some cheese on it, it tastes just like a regular taco.
Yeah, I mean, it's delicious, and I do the same with my pasta sauce too. So I mean, basically, like anytime that I am making pasta at home, I will just basically open up the fridge, or I'll do the same thing with like chili if we're making, when it's chili season. I'll just open up the fridge and see whatever extra veggies we have in there, and just mix it in. And yeah, it's just such an easy way to, like you said, just sneak in those extra veggies. And it's just, and yeah, aren't going to have a huge impact on the flavor. But as far as upping that nutritional value, it's insane.
Yeah, like spaghetti and meat sauce is something that gets like a bad rap, like it's unhealthy or something. It could be really good for you. Like you get a jar of good tomato sauce. You get some higher protein, higher fiber pasta. You throw in some onion, you throw in some pepper, you throw in some fresh tomato, you put some cheese, some grated Parmesan cheese on it. That's a very nutritious meal. I don't know why, like, if you eat way too much of it, it's going to be quite caloric. Maybe if you use some conventional pasta, you don't get as much of a protein fiber benefit out of it, but that's a regular staple for us as well. Really easy to whip up, really very quite nutritious. Another one is stir fries. And the way that I make these super easy is just pull my meat of choice out of the freezer, chop it up into cubes, and then I get a big bag of frozen vegetables from Costco, stir fry vegetables. You cook the meat up in the pan, and then you just pull the meat out once it's done, and you throw the veggies right in the pan, cover it with a lid, and let them steam. Throw the meat back in, and then my favorite sauce right now is Bachan's Korean barbecue sauce. Have you tried this stuff?
No, I have no
Dude,
idea what that is.
dude, find it. I'm gonna send you a
Okay.
bottle. Actually.
All right.
This stuff is amazing. It's fairly high in sugar, but otherwise pretty clean ingredients and tastes absolutely delicious. So you just cook up some meat, steam up some frozen vegetables, drench it in sauce, put over some rice. Super easy, super healthy. Another kind of staple in my
That
diet.
so that just made me think of the so we eat rice in our household pretty much on a weekly basis. Now, one thing that uh, I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm pretty sure you like a lot is like cauliflower rice. You are, I mean, so that is something that um yeah, I have a tough time with that one, like cauliflower in general, like texturally I feel like it's just off. Maybe I haven't found the right brands or like or cooking technique, but like you eat cauliflower rice pretty regularly, yeah?
You gotta go sneaky veggie with it though. Like I don't like cauliflower rice by itself. Cauliflower rice by itself is just cauliflower
Okay.
shaped like rice. It's
Yeah.
trash. But what I love to do is cook up a cup of white rice and throw in a cup
Oh,
of
I
cooked
see.
cauliflower rice, stir it up. You don't even know what's in there.
Yeah.
And now you're getting that cauliflower in there with the rice. So you can just it can be really pretty simple. And you can sneak it in there if it's something you don't traditionally love. Like I feel like this is how you might have to introduce foods to a 4-year-old, but it can work for adults too.
Yeah, but I mean, that kind of is like when we think about making healthy eating simple, you have to think about it like you're feeding a 4-year-old. I mean,
Maybe.
it's just the way it is. Like we have we have the things that we're used to. We have the flavors that we like, and so it's not about. And I think that's the big thing because everybody's like, oh, I can have this, I can't have this. This is good, this is bad, and it's not to say like there isn't good or bad. It's just it's about being smart about the quantities of
Yeah.
these things. And so if you have an opportunity to sub out something like rice, like a grain like rice, and are able to sub that part of that for a vegetable, then you're in a better place.
Yeah, and if you're watching calories, it's a substitution play. But it can also just be adding thing, right? Like it doesn't always have to be about subtraction. Like I don't put it in there because I don't want to eat less rice. I put it in there because I want to get more cauliflower into my diet. So I
Right.
think just the general takeaway here is anytime you're cooking something up, just think to yourself, what can I add to this to make it a bit more nutritious? And it can really get pretty simple. And these don't have to be like big elaborate meals. They can be simple things you can cook up on a weeknight, 30 minutes from prep to on the table, and you'll be eating pretty good.
For sure. So I mean, let's the next thing that we wanted to talk about is something that is in our weekly staples. I know that you're a big fan of this. I am too. It's the big fucking smoothie. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for a simple way, whether it is breakfast or sometimes like I'm not always in the mood for a big lunch. So actually, I've been finding that a lot of times I'll make my big fucking smoothie for lunchtime, and it's just such a simple way, if done correctly, to get a ton of nutrients, and you can make it pretty dang filling.
Yeah. I mean, this is almost a daily staple for me. Just because it is so healthy and so convenient. Like it's so quick to make. Go in the freezer, you go in the fridge, you throw some things in a big cup, you stick it on the blender, and it's done. So I'm a huge fan of the weekly big fucking smoothie. I want to know what you put in yours.
Yeah. Okay. So I will. I mean, first off, it's frozen fruit. So whatever we've gotten there. I've been on a big frozen mango kick
Dude,
lately.
me too. I was
Dude,
gonna say
it's
that.
dude, it's so
It's
good.
so good.
It's
It
so
is.
good. And then another thing that I am a big fan of too is frozen cherries. Those two things, just like a bowl of frozen cherries and frozen mangoes, they're like little popsicles, like little bite-sized popsicles. It's an amazing just treat to have on its own. But I will take just a bunch of frozen fruit, put that all in my smoothie, or put that all in my blender. I will take my a scoop of protein powder. Usually with the smoothie, I don't want the protein powder to overpower the flavor, so that I'll usually go with just vanilla. And then I usually go with a mix of I'll usually go with water and yogurt, or I'll do water and some milk.
Mhm.
And then always mixing some spinach in, just a
Yeah.
big ass handful of spinach. It's a requirement in every single one of my smoothies.
Yeah, I've also found that the frozen spinach tastes a little less spinachy than if you use fresh spinach, and it lasts longer in the freezer than
Hmm.
it does fridge. A lot of this stuff you can just keep in the freezer. We talked about the benefits of green bananas for the resistant starches that they have, but I think green bananas like by themselves are gross. Like I like a good almost brown banana. Like give me that sugar. But easy to sneak into the smoothie. So I'll buy them a little bit greener. I'll stick them in the freezer. I'll cut them in half, stick them in the freezer. I'll throw a half of a green-ish banana in my smoothie as well. The seeds, the chia, the flax, hemp seeds, really easy to throw in there. You said kefir. Kefir's awesome. If people aren't familiar with kefir, it's like a what is it? It's like a
It's
more
just it's
liquidy yogurt.
well, yeah, it's fermented. It's fermented milk. So I
Fermented
mean,
milk.
so
Yeah.
it's just basically it's a yeah, it's a yogurt. It's essentially yeah, just like a more watery yogurt. You can get, I mean, you can get flavored ones, and they like there are a bunch of like really good flavored ones that you can just drink straight,
Yeah.
or you can get the unflavored ones, and it's got a little like tang to it, that like fermented tang.
Kind of like
That
yogurt.
I really, oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. Basically, yeah, it's just watery yogurt. It's fantastic, and a really like easy way to get some more protein, and some more like fermented foods in your diet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one. You know what I found recently in the grocery store that caught my eye and I tried and was delicious were these they're Chobani, but they come in a bottle. It's like a drinkable yogurt, and they must do something to filter out some of the fat and the sugar in it as well because it's very low sugar and it's very high protein. Another thing that I've been keeping in the fridge, this is a very convenient thing to grab. It's like a drinkable yogurt with 20 grams of protein in it.
Like
So those are
Danimals for grown-ups.
pretty much, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
Danimals
we
was
are just we
awesome.
are just grown 4-year-olds.
That's it, man. It's very simple. This isn't even really just like a healthy eating hack. This is just something that I thought of back in the day. My mom used to buy Go-Gurt a
Mhm.
lot, but she would put the Go-Gurt in the freezer. So they were like little frozen yogurt pops. I'll have to go back and check to see what the nutritional profile is on Go-Gurt, but that could be something.
Dude, you can make a homemade, yeah, like adult Go-Gurt.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. You could.
maybe we should sell like empty Go-Gurt tubes.
Oh, there
Um,
we go. Yeah,
yeah,
that's genius.
we'll get that in the store.
Yeah. Okay. Let's now, the real reason why we wanted to have this conversation today is so that we could talk about how to still have your fast food and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because that is something. Fast food is something that is near and dear to both of our hearts. But first off, I mean, it's one of those things that you gotta treat it like it is, for what it is. It's a treat. It's something that it shouldn't be a reliance every single day. But if you are somebody that is on the fast food wheel, because we understand as far as convenience goes, and the price goes, it's an easy thing to turn to, but there are ways that you can eat fast food and make it at least a little more healthy.
Yeah, and you should certainly limit how much of it you're eating, right? So if you're eating it very limitedly and you want to go get the double Whopper with extra large fry, and you're gonna go home the rest of the week and cook at home and eat a bunch of veggies, fucking go for it. Like that's kind of my relationship with fast food is I'm running through that Culver's. I'm getting the large curds and I'm getting the double burger, sometimes a triple. Um,
Ooh.
and so that's totally fine. We're not here to suggest that like fast food is bad, but there's a lot of people that do, right? Like fast food is the demon, stay away. Um, if you're finding yourself in a situation where maybe you're consuming a bit more, maybe you're out on the road, maybe you're traveling, maybe it's your job is just stressful and it's hard to meal prep and you find there's a McDonald's or a Taco Bell nearby. Like you said, Matt, there's some strategies you can use to maybe get a bit more out of it from a health point of view. And one of the things that I always like to look at is the protein to calorie ratio on any given fast food item. And some of them are actually quite good, especially at Taco Bell. We'll talk about some of the different fast food items that kind of fall into the category of higher protein to calorie ratio. But, if you're getting 20 grams of protein out of something that's 800 calories, that's not so good. But if you're getting 40 grams of protein out of something that's 400 calories, that's fantastic. So generally, look into that kind of 1 to 10 sort of ratio, protein to calorie is really pretty good in that general range. And an easy way to do that is double the meat, right? Like if you're gonna have a single burger and fries, just get a double burger. Like you'll get more protein. You're not gonna eat the fried French fries that come with different negative health impacts as well. So I like double the meat. At Taco Bell, you get a burrito, double the chicken, please.
Hmm.
You're gonna get a ton more protein at a pretty low calorie bang.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you said something earlier where it's we're not here to make fast food out to be this something that we should be eating all the time. But again, we understand that as far as just like lifestyles go, there are people that live on the road, there are people that travel
Yeah.
a lot for work, there's people that it's just a part of their routines. And so the big thing there is finding the good in these meals. And so I'm with you. I think that's always, how can I make this meal more protein forward? And so whether that's double meat, usually that's the play. But yeah, it's just focusing on the good, and not stressing so much about the bad.
Yeah, give yourself some grace to say, I needed a convenient meal. Like you don't have to beat yourself up for it either. Like I play in a golf league on Wednesday nights. Sometimes I'm not done till 8:30. I'm running through Chick-fil-A. It's
Hmm.
convenient. I try to pick something that's a little higher protein. Next morning I have my big fucking smoothie. Like it's not worth beating yourself up over. And there are good qualities in every food. We've talked about that before. Like a gummy bear, the nutritional benefits not super high, but it tastes great. Like so, yeah, silly to kind of get hung up on. It's easy to do, but you shouldn't beat
Yeah.
yourself up every
And
time.
so, one choice that you can make if you are on the drive-through line looking for, what options you can make is to skip the fryer. If you have the option for grilled chicken as opposed to a fried, go with the grilled option. That is such an easy way to do it. And you know, uh especially now with the way that portions are, I am always a fan of the small fry. I think like if I'm going to Culver's or wherever, I will even if it's 50 cents more expensive to get the large fry. I might feel like a sucker getting the small. A small fry is enough fries, I promise you.
Yeah.
Go with the small fry, skip the fried option whenever possible, and you're just setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, fries. I mean, we know fried food in general is just really not good for us. Like, it's a good idea to skip fried food as much as you can. Granted, it tastes fucking awesome. So have some fried food every once in a while. But as a staple, and then just cooking things in oil adds a ton of calories. So if you're watching your weight, it's not just the potato, it's all of the oil that fry is cooked in that adds to the number of calories. And then to your whole point about the portions, like a medium fry is ginormous for McDonald's these days. It's just insane. So I try to skip the fried food as much as I can. If there's a side of fruit option, I'll go with that from time to time. If there's cottage cheese at some of these places now, which is awesome, super high protein. So you can look into some of that and ask for some of that kind of stuff. But generally, like if I'm at a burger joint, I'll just get more meat and skip the French fries these days.
Exactly.
So what are your fast food go-to spots and meals?
All right. Well, okay. So this first one, a place that has been near and dear to my heart forever, is has been under fire recently, and that's Chipotle. So I love Chipotle.
Aren't you a
Um,
Qdoba guy?
well, okay, yeah, sure. Now I don't know about like where Qdoba is nationally. I don't know if everybody gets
Okay,
access
okay.
to the wonderful the wonderful option that is Qdoba versus Chipotle. So yes, you're right, Dylan. If I have the option, I'm gonna go Qdoba
You're nuts.
over Chipotle every day of the week.
You're nuts.
But for all intents and purposes, they're the same restaurant.
They are not.
Well, yeah, one of them has delicious queso, i.e., Qdoba, and the other one's
Chipotle's
queso
queso is
is
underrated. I will die on
trash.
Chipotle Hill.
Trash. And Chipotle now has been under fire recently for getting real skimpy with the portions. So
Really?
there's actually, dude, you got to check this out on social media. Because there's actually this whole there's a boycott, Chipotle boycott going on, where what people are doing, what the internet is suggesting is you go into Chipotle, you order your food, and if they start making it and the portions are not to your satisfaction, you just walk out. And so I'm not saying that this is what we should do. These workers are it's not their fault that the from the top down they're being told to be skimpier with the portions. But yeah, I mean, Chipotle normally is an absolute big city go to for me. But you've eaten Chipotle. You've been in the Chipotle line behind me. You know how I play it.
Yeah.
Where it's I will ask for black beans. I'll wait till they put all the black beans on there, and then I will ask for pinto.
Yep.
I will order the chicken, and then after they put the full scoop of chicken on there, I will say, "Oh, I want double meat," so they give me a whole nother scoop. Um,
Yeah, the biggest mistake you can make at Chipotle is when you pick your meat, tell them you want double meat.
yeah, wait,
You
wait.
say, I want chicken. They put the scoop of chicken in. I'll have double chicken. Then otherwise you're getting half scoops
Yeah,
and you got yourself a problem. That's a hack for sure.
yeah, exactly. So right, for the sake of everybody, I will say Chipotle, but if you have the option to go to Qdoba, please like check it out. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, it's less fresh Chipotle. So if you're interested in less fresh Chipotle, go to Qdoba. The burrito bowl, right, is a fantastic option.
Mhm.
There's 320 calories in one Chipotle burrito shell. So that's crazy. Like that's a lot of calories in a tortilla
Mhm.
shell. So skip the tortilla if you're watching your calories and I mean the nutritional value that comes with the rice, the beans, the protein, the lettuce, the salsas, the corn. It's a damn good place to get some
Yeah,
fast food.
you know what the move is? You get the salad, and
You can
so
do the salad too if you're really
so
watching
you
calories. Yeah.
well, no, so you still get the rice.
Oh.
Because so you get the salad, they put the lettuce down, and then you ask them for rice on top of that. So the
Oh.
only difference is that you're getting lettuce on the bottom, so you're getting even more food. And it is awesome. So I highly recommend. And then I think this is the case. I think with the salad, you get a free bag of chips. I think they give you a free bag of chips on the side too.
Huh.
So then you can have a couple tortilla chips while you're eating your giant bowl of food that's almost as good as their competitor Qdoba.
We had Chipotle for dinner tonight, and my wife Courtney was kind of reluctant. She's like, "Why do we always get Chipotle?" And I'm thinking to myself, I told her because we have a 5-month-old, we find ourselves needing a quick, convenient meal, and it's like the healthiest, quick, convenient meal option that we have. So it's a pretty darn tough one to beat in terms of just like quality of the food, nutritional value for fast food. Um, Taco Bell's not too far behind.
Dude, I
You're
love
not gonna.
Taco Bell.
I,
I
I'm,
love it.
dude, it's so good. I don't understand these people that like all these memes of like dump trucks of mud coming out of the back. Like this is what happens to my butthole after I eat taco. That doesn't happen to me. Does that happen to you? Does it give you the shits?
No, I mean, not if I eat a normal amount of Taco Bell. I
Right.
think I think the problem for these people is that they're going to Taco Bell and they're getting 7 different items and they're loading it all up with fire sauce, and yeah, you're going to have some problems if you're eating 3,000 calories in one meal. But if
Yeah,
you
or they're going at 3 a.m. after,
yeah,
30 vodka sodas.
it's not the Taco Bell
And
that's
then they blame
giving
the
you
taco.
the
Right.
the intestinal problems. It's the 5 vodka Red Bulls that you had before
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean there's some really good options there. The one that I've really been drawn to is if I'm looking for like the healthier option is the three cheese chicken flatbread melt. And then you get
Hmm.
extra, ask for extra chicken on it. It's like 30 grams of protein for less than 400 calories in just one of those things. So I'll get two of them, 60 grams of protein, less than 800 calories. That's a pretty darn good fast food bang for your buck meal there on the protein front. And then the other one is the Power Bowl. The Power Bowl is
Oh
a
yeah.
pretty nice. It's like a cheaper version of a Chipotle burrito bowl.
Yeah, so the three cheese chicken flatbreads, I was looking it up. A normal one, so with just the standard chicken serving, it is 330 calories, 20 grams of protein, 29 carbs, 15 grams of fat. Not a bad macro split there. So then if
No.
you, I did a little deeper dive. If you ask for extra meat, they give you 1.5, or you can ask for double meat. And
Oh,
double meat is literally it's twice, twice the amount. And so you're
you get
getting
40 grams of protein.
40 grams of protein. Obviously, those calories are going to be a little bit higher. And same thing, all those that macro split is going to be different, but you're getting 40 grams of calories for right around 400, under 500 grams or 500 calories.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid meal right there.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's some other things there that are halfway decent. I'm a big fan of the bean burrito. I don't know the macro splits on it, but beans high in fiber. So just paying, being cognizant of the things that are actually good for you and some of this stuff.
Hmm.
Being high in protein too. So
Yeah,
um,
the
not all bad.
highest protein food that I could find at Taco Bell was the Cantina chicken quesadilla. It does have 570 calories in it, but 29 grams of protein. So
Dude,
uh,
those are fire.
they're so good.
Those are so good. And they come with like this green salsa.
Yeah.
I've tried those recently. Those are pretty damn good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, so I'm all about it. And look, I mean, we said it earlier, like there is no like healthy fast food restaurant, but Taco Bell has at least made efforts to make their menu healthier in the past couple of decades. So yeah, again, this should not be something that is a staple in your diet, but if you are looking for a convenient treat from time to time, like yeah, the Taco Bell slander needs to stop.
Agreed.
Yeah, and fire sauce is what's up.
Hot sauce.
I like the fire.
I'm a hot guy. I like fire, but I prefer hot.
Okay. But yeah, we both can agree that the Diablo is just unnecessary.
Trash, yeah,
Yeah,
trash.
yeah, it's no good.
The next one we've got on here worth talking about, setting aside their ownership and politics, maybe a bit, is Chick-fil-A.
Hmm.
They're not open on Sundays. The funniest thing I ever heard was they put one in Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Atlanta
Yeah,
Falcons play, and they play most of their games on Sundays, so it's never open.
it's never open
Yeah,
when people are in there. It
right.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Granted, they have concerts and I think soccer games in there too, but just kind of
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But there's some really tasty stuff there. There's one right by my house, so I find myself there from time to time. The grilled nuggets are so good.
Yes,
They're so good. And an 8 count only has 130 calories and 25 grams of protein, which is
that's a
nuts.
legitimately good split.
Yeah, like that's insane. That's like better than good.
Hmm.
I'm actually afraid I made a typo there. We might want to double check that.
I'll
That's
fact
insane.
check it.
In any event, I'm pretty confident in the 25 grams of protein. I'll typically get 2 8 pieces and 50-ish grams of protein. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So the grilled nuggets are awesome. Chick-fil-A sauce, though, beware, is super caloric. So if you're watching your calories and you're drenching these puppies in Chick-fil-A sauce, um, the calories are going to creep up pretty quickly. I have seen some people on social media making homemade versions with like a non-fat mayo, and that might be worth thinking about doing and keeping it in the fridge and taking them home and dipping them in that instead of, again, if you're watching your calories. And then the other thing they have on the menu, did you fact check it?
Yeah, carbmanager.com verified. 8 count of grilled Chick-fil-A nuggets has 130 calories and 25 grams of protein.
That's nuts.
Damn.
That is crazy. That means you can get 50 grams of protein for two. Go ahead and dip it in the sauce. Dip away, my friend. That's really pretty damn good. I didn't even know I was doing that good when I was eating those. They also got a cool wrap. It's like a chicken wrap, grilled chicken wrap. It's cooler. It's cold, I think. I actually haven't had it, but 660 calories, 43 grams of protein. Again, pretty damn good. And that's got like lettuce and stuff in it too. So some vegetables as well.
Yeah. And then I think the last one that I know we both have an affinity for is Wendy's.
Yes.
They used to. Now I was more of a Wendy's fan back when they had the greatest value menu known to man. That has
Inflation, man.
seemingly gone away. It's a huge bummer. So if we have any uh, people connections over at Wendy's listening to the
Yeah, we got to
podcast,
work
please,
on that.
please, please bring back the value menu. It was such a treat. But there are still still some decent options out there. I know that getting a salad at a fast food restaurant may seem a bit counterintuitive, but Wendy's Cobb salad is legit when it comes to the macro split. I mean, it's 420 calories, 36 grams of protein. So you're not quite at that 1 to 10, protein to calories ratio that we're really looking for, but man, it's pretty dang close.
Yeah, I mean that's really, and it's better than like the McDonald's salads. That's why I put it on there specifically. So if you are looking for just a quick, convenient, there's a Wendy's there. You want to run through and grab a salad. That's one of the better ones in terms of the calorie to protein ratio. It doesn't taste too bad either. I've had one or two. I'll usually get one and then I'll get a junior bacon cheeseburger with it.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same. Yeah, or
Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay. And then usually I'll also get a junior spicy chicken as
Oh,
well.
all
But
right.
that's just me.
You remember when a double cheese uh McDonald's double cheeseburger used to be $1?
Dude, I was just bitching about this the other day because I was I was running some errands and was just looking for a little snack to tide me over. So I popped in the McDonald's drive-through, and I don't. McDonald's is one of those that I nowadays I just think there are way better options.
Agreed. Yeah.
Excuse me. But I was. It's been a while. It's kind of nostalgic, and so I was like, well, I'll swing by there. I'll get a McDouble. Well, first off, oh my god, do you
That
remember
was
like
what happened next. So then they took off a slice of cheese.
made it a McDouble,
They called it a McDouble.
but they still offered it for $1. So we were
Correct.
we were okay there. So
Yes.
you could get a McDouble for $1. You could get a McChicken for $1. You get two sandwiches for $2.11, and they weren't great, but it was enough to tide you over. Is fine. I went through there. I got a McDouble. I got a chicken, a McChicken, and I got a small fry, and it was $7.
What
I mean, I'll
happened?
tell you what, that food does not taste very good at $7. It
No.
is, it is, it's absolute travesty. So,
You can get
um,
a Culver's double cheeseburger for $7.
dude, you can just get, yeah, you get a
Like,
Culver's. That's the go-to. You can get just
yeah,
the Culver's Butterburger Deluxe, yeah,
yeah,
for $6, and it is like way higher quality. So,
yeah.
yeah, I might be out on McDonald's in general, and now with this whole ice cream or machine controversy that's going
That's
on,
right.
the conspiracy theory. So we won't elaborate too much, but just Google McDonald's ice cream machine conspiracy and have yourself a night. But I might be out on McDonald's entirely. And so there are just better fast food options out there.
Yeah, and the good news with a lot of these places now is a lot of the nutrition information is super readily available in the app or on the website. So if it's not, Chipotle, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, which we just kind of covered as some good ones. If you find yourself in a McDonald's, if you find yourself at wherever, have a quick peek. Again, look for the thing that's a little higher in protein. See if there's some subs you can make to get maybe some vegetables, some fruit, skip the fried stuff, double the protein, and enjoy it. Don't beat yourself up too much. Go home and have a big fucking smoothie in the morning.
Yeah, and I know that there are plenty of you out there that have your fast food, go-tos, your hacks out there. So share them with us. We'd love to see them. We'll share them on the show.
Yeah.
Anybody that's got a good fast food hack for us, or even if you just have a good deal. Like, I'm a sucker for a good deal. Like, hit us up with a good deal. We'll share it on the show, and we'll give you some credit for it. All right, now let's move on to our question and answer portion of the show. Um, Dylan, this one you got asked, so I'll let you present it.
Yeah. And so I got asked this, and I used to think about this all the time. Like, so I'm glad this person asked me, and I'm glad we can talk about it on the podcast because I think even for people new to the gym, but even people that have been working out for quite a while, this is a question that maybe more people should reflect on and is worth talking through the nuance around because there's benefits to doing it in different ways. And now I should probably just ask the fucking question so you know what I'm talking about. The question is, how long should I rest in between my sets?
Yeah, and it's a great question. Now here, I'll just give you the simple answer, and then we can get into the nuances after that. But the simple answer is as long as you need. If the goal is to build muscle, if that is the primary reason that you are in the gym to build muscle, then you need to rest as long as it takes for your body to feel recovered before your next set. And the reason why is because once you do that, you are more likely to move more weight in that next set. So if building muscle is simply just progressively overloading for days, weeks, months, years, then resting long enough in between your sets so that you are recovered enough to give maximal effort in that next set is what it should take. Now, what does that realistically mean? I find that anywhere between a minute and a half to 3 minutes, depending on the exercise, seems to be the sweet spot. Um, and there's a lot of research that suggests that 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes is the sweet spot. Um, but we also know that that's not necessarily always the most practical way to train either.
Yeah, and I found myself resting way shorter than that initially. Like
Oh,
3 minutes
everybody, yeah,
felt
for
like an
sure.
eternity. But what you'll find is, if you do a set and it only takes you 30 seconds to recover, you probably weren't lifting enough weight. Your intensity wasn't high enough for that initial set. You should require 90 seconds plus to recover and go back under that weight and move it like you did the first time. Granted, there's a fatigue factor that'll come towards the second, third, fourth set for sure. But like you said, we know from the research that for your body's ability to recover and move maximal force again, it's going to take longer than 90 seconds. And I would challenge most people who haven't really considered these longer rest periods to do three. Like, give yourself 3 minutes and see what happens. And you might be bored. Um, but and this is when I find myself from time to time scrolling through Twitter, doing something stupid like that. The thing I've challenged myself to do more of is really just sit there and be present with my workout. And I get even better workouts then. Like if I'm not distracting myself in between my sets. But if you find yourself getting bored, you could, listen to some music, listen to a podcast, whatever it is. But 3 minutes, man, it's a different adaptation, right? Like it's not, it'll be novel. It'll help you build muscle.
Yeah, 100%. Now, we understand that if you are strapped for time, that spending, and 3 to 5 minutes to recover from each set is not always realistic. Not everybody, people have only a certain amount of time that they can spend in the gym. So, then what my advice would be is to rest longer for the big exercises,
Yeah.
which if you are following a good program, those should be at the beginning of your workout anyway. So it should be those initial exercises after your warm up that you're doing that require the most rest. So that would be your compound movements, your back squats, your deadlifts, bench press, etc. Those moves that are using multiple muscle groups and are really really muscularly challenging are going to require more rest, especially if you are hoping to progress those exercises. And then once you get to the smaller muscle groups, the more isolated exercises, then you can start to keep it more to, that 60 seconds. But honestly, I mean, like you said earlier, if you are completing a set and only require 30 to 45 seconds of recovery before you're able to start again, you're not really, strength training. That becomes more of a cardio style workout, which is fine. But just understand that if the goal in the gym is to build muscle, then you need to rest longer. It's a requirement.
Yeah, at that point it's just cardio. It's sort of what's the problem with like circuit training and the Orange Theory fitnesses of the world is it's not enough rest, right? Like it ultimately turns into a cardiovascular exercise. It's not really optimal for building muscle. And I do exactly what you said. So my squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, I'll go for 3 minutes in between sets. My bicep curls, some of that other stuff, 1 minute to 90 seconds is generally pretty good for me. I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
If you're doing unilateral work, like for example, a single arm dumbbell row on a bench, do you rest in between your right arm and your left arm?
100%. I mean, you are, and that rest doesn't necessarily need to be a full minute and a half to 2 minutes. This is where exactly how we started answering the question. It's as much rest as you require
Yeah.
before going on to the next set. And so, yeah, I mean, like if you're doing something like a Bulgarian split squat or a bench row or something, that other side isn't just resting. It's being active. It's working in usually like a stabilization factor on, well, that other side is being the primary mover. So it's not just resting and recovering on that other side. And also just thinking about it from a cardio standpoint, if you're doing a tough set of rows or split squats or whatever it is and getting close to failure, you're going to be out of breath at the end of that set. And so before you go to the other side, absolutely, you should definitely be resting from side to side.
Yeah, so for me, I'm doing single arm dumbbell rows right now. So I'll start with my weaker arm and I'll do my set, and then I'll generally rest like a minute in between left side and right side, do the right side, and then I'll take a full 2 minutes before
Yep.
I start all over again. And that seems to work pretty well for me. But you're right, whatever you need, right? Like there's really two things that need to recover. It's your heart rate and it's the muscles themselves. So those are the two kind of factors you have to be thinking about and paying attention to when you're thinking about how much do I need? Is my heart rate returned to baseline, and are my legs not shaking anymore from that set of squats I just did?
Yeah. Am I mentally ready to get back under the
And
squat bar?
mental, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. Let's transition to my least favorite part of the show here, but it is the plug portion. So if you like the information that we are giving to you, if you like what we're doing, please make sure that you're subscribed on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you listen to us. Please make sure you're subscribing. Give us a 5-star rating if you do think that this information is valuable. It really does make a difference in how people find this podcast. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about what we do, head on over to thebasictrainer.com. We've got 2 workout programs in our store over there. We've got our free The Basic Home or Basic Home workout program that is all body weight and band focused stuff that you can do at home. That is totally free. We also have one paid program, Basic Muscle, which is your out of the box, take it to the gym and start getting stronger 12-week program. So please head on over there, give it a shot. Let us know what you think. And then give us a follow on Instagram. We have 2 pages right now, Better Basics Podcast and The Basic Trainer, both on Instagram. So please, 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 we really appreciate all the support. And when you see Dylan and I around, let us know that you're listening. Let us know the stuff that you like. Actually, that's how we've been getting a lot of these questions lately are people that have been coming up to us. And it seriously, it means the world. It is the coolest thing in the world when somebody says, hey, I listen to your podcast. I really like it. We're getting a lot out of it. It means the world. So now that I have finished that portion, is there anything else that I need to plug here, Dylan?
Well said, my friend.
Okay, I appreciate it. And then now we get to head to my favorite part of the show. It is the I Lift a sad song of the day. It is my sad song this week, but this is a song that Dylan, I know you love. I know it is something that is near and dear to your heart too. It is one of our favorite artists, Rustin Kelly, and off his most recent full album release, it is Holy Shit. Give it a listen. You will not be disappointed. It's the absolute best. And if this is the first time that you are hearing Rustin Kelly, well, actually, if you've been listening to the podcast, we've mentioned Rustin Kelly at least one other time. But he is the man. We love him so much. And one day we hope he's a listener to this show. So, yeah, Rustin, we love you. Holy shit, Rustin Kelly. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.